Hello, welcome back everybody. Welcome to Nature Tots. I'm trying a little bit of a different setup today, so it may look different and I'm not quite used to it. But hello, thank you very much for everybody who joined us last week. It was very lovely to see lots of familiar names popping up. And if you didn't join us last week, that's not a problem. Welcome. Welcome to Nature Tots. My name is Abby. I'm the Learning Engagement Manager at London Wildlife Trust, and I really love slugs and snails. So what we do normally at Nature Tots is we say our hellos to everybody, and if you want to share what your favourite animal is or something exciting that you've seen this week, then you can do that, and you can put it in the chat window there, so then I can see it and I can say hello to everybody. So whilst you're all doing that, I'll just have a little chat with you. And there's some people that I'm going to say hello to, and they're not watching live because they're asleep. And they're not lazy, it's because it's bedtime where they are. And they have already had their Monday. For us, it's Monday morning, but they have already had their Monday, and now they're asleep, getting ready for Tuesday, tomorrow. So, one moment. Keeps on deflating. So, we are here. Well, I definitely am anyway. I'm here in England, in London, which is here on the map. And the people I'm going to say hello to now are all the way over here. They're on the other side of the world in Australia. So I would like to say hello to Edward and Thomas. Hello. I would like to say hello to Lucy and Matthew. Hello. I work with your Auntie Jo. And I would like to say hello to Leith and Zane. Hello. I hope you had a really good Monday, and I hope you're getting ready for a really good Tuesday. And I hope you enjoy Nature Tots when you watch it. So if anybody else is not in England and somewhere else in the world and would like to share that with us, then please do. So let's see who we've got in to say hello today. So we've got Matthias. Hi, Matthias. And his favourite animal today is an elephant. Really good one. I'm sure you can do a better elephant impression than I can, Matthias. We've also got, I've not got my mouse with me here, so I don't want to miss anyone. I'm going to scroll up, and we've got Rudy and Vita. Hello, I know your cousin Frida, and I've met you before, Rudy, as well. We had some delicious snacks at Nature Tots, didn't we, before Christmas. So hi, Rudy, and hi, Vita. And you like termites. Wow, they make really big termite mounds. It's incredible because they're only really tiny. Who else have we got? We've got Harrison and Sebastian. Hello, Harrison and Sebastian. And Harrison loves a horse. Good choice. And who else have we got? We've got who else? Oh, and Frida's there too. Hello. Hi, Frida, and hi, Ren. We've got, is that Vuta the dog? If you are, hello. I'll definitely say hello to dogs as well. I've got a couple here myself. Hello to Orla and Etta. And you like foxes and kittens. Oh, lovely. Hi, Orla and Etta. And hello, Jed. You've been in the garden. You've seen some bees and woodlouse already. That's brilliant. And you found a foxhole. Fantastic. And I know if I was to ask you, I know, Jed, what your favourite animal is. A bear. June is here. Hi, June. I saw some lovely photos of you and the snail. Good job. And you were holding them so carefully. Well done. Hey, we've got Arthur and Agnes. Hello, Arthur and Agnes. Let's see. Oh no, I thought I'd missed somebody. I hadn't. Really good to have you here, Arthur and Agnes. I saw you at the Centre for Wildlife Gardening, Arthur, and that was the last activity that we had there for Toad Day. It was so good to see you again because I've not seen you since you started school, and it's good to have Agnes here as well. We've got Tyler, and you love giraffes and ponies. Another good combination there together. Fantastic. Hello. And June likes a sloth. Very good. Sloths are beautiful. They like to hang upside down, and lots of people think they're quite lazy, but they're really good swimmers. Yeah. And we've got Ray. Hi, Ray. You like sharks? I love sharks as well. My favourite shark, the whale shark. And they're really big and beautiful and spotty. Who else have we've got Deirdre. Hi, Deirdre. You like butterflies. I think you like dragonflies as well, don't you, Deirdre? Deirdre's joining us from Yorkshire. Big hello to Yorkshire. We've got Hugo. Hugo loves foxes as well. I love all the love for the foxes. Brilliant. We've got some. Don't think there's a fox in our story today, but we have got some stories with foxes in. So we'll read one of those later in the next few weeks. We've got Frankie. Yay! Hi, Frankie. It's lovely to have you here. And you also love elephants as well. Frankie's very good at finding newts in the pond. He comes to Woodbury wetlands, and he's a very good newt finder. We have got from Walthamstow. We've got sorry if I don't pronounce your name correctly. Sorry, Perisphone. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm really struggling with that one. Perisphone. I will contact your mum before next week, and I will find out how to say your names properly, and they're beautiful names. And Alethea, very beautiful names. And you come to Walthamstow, and that could be with Isabel or Fiona, so they'd say a big hello to you as well. You've seen a blackbird and a great tit this morning. Lots of beautiful birds. We're going to be looking at birds some more next week. We have got May, and May loves wiggly worms. You're going to be in for a treat today, May. Frida has seen some goldfinches this week from her bedroom window. Fantastic, Frida. Frida also loves woodpeckers and Arctic terns, which are another two brilliant birds. We have got Suleiman. Hi, Suleiman. Lovely to see you. We've got Frankie. Frankie used to come to Woodbury, but she moved away. And she loves penguins. Frankie, it's lovely to see you. So Frankie was always very busy at Woodbury. She always loved looking under all of the logs and things. So I hope you're doing that. We'll have to catch up, because I think you've got a little brother or sister now as well. I'll have to ask your mummy about that. We've got Oscar. Oh, Oscar saw, this is interesting. Oscar saw a black swan on Saturday. Fantastic. So hi, Oscar. And we've got Oscar and Sienna, another Oscar, and they love monkeys and ponies. What does a monkey do? Ooh, 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 ooh. We have got George. Hi, George. And George loves pandas. Pandas are a lovely big black and white animal. Can anybody see another black and white animal anywhere? Did you spot this one here? Does anyone know what that is? It's a badger. And somebody last week, it might have been Will, said that they liked badgers. And I said, oh, we'll meet one. And then I forgot to introduce you to this badger. This badger is called Camley. And he's called Camley because he used to work with me at Camley Street Natural Park, one of our nature reserves. Didn't you, Camley? And it's currently closed. We're having a new visitor centre built. So when it reopens, Camley will go back there. But Camley has been keeping me company here. And also, you've spent a lot of time at Centre for Wildlife Gardening in the last year, haven't you? Yeah. So, and we do have, Camley's a badger. We do have badgers here in London. So if anybody sees a badger, please do let me know because I think that's very exciting. And Arthur and Agnes found a dormouse nest at their grandparents' house and have a pond at home now. Brilliant. That's fantastic. A pond is a really good way to get lots of wildlife into your garden. So if you do have space and have a pond, it'd be really good to get one. And you can even make really little mini ponds. And I'm going to share some links in the comments later about the Wildlife Trust. They've got lots of different videos, and one of them last week or the week before was about making a mini pond in your garden. Who else have we got? We've got Edie in Dublin. Hello, Edie. Good to see you this morning. And Edie loves frogs. I think we're going to have to share my favourite frog joke with you. Sorry for everybody who's heard this already. What did the frog say when he took his books back to the library? Read it? Read it? Favourite. We've also got Emily, who loves octopus. Octopus with lots of legs. How many? 8 legs an octopus has. That's a lot. Good morning, Zane from Walthamstow Wetlands. Hi, Zane. It's good to have you here. And hello, Orla. Orla loves bees and robins. 2 good choices. Oh, Frankie's got a baby brother called Ellis. Oh, that's lovely. I bet you're a fantastic big sister, Frankie. We're going to sing the Forest School song later on, don't you worry. And I know Edith might be joining later, might she? So, or you might watch it later on. So hello to Edith. Edith used to come to Woodbury Wetlands for Nature Tots as well. And Frankie and Edie, there's a video, I think it's on our Woodbury Wetlands Instagram page, and it's very lovely. And it's a Frankie and Edie running around and they are giggling a lot. It's one of my favourites. And Orla and Etta saw a badger from the car with their dad. Wow. Oh, I wonder where that is. If you want to let me know where that is, that sounds very exciting. And I bet it was quite big because badgers are a lot bigger than Hamley here. Badgers can be quite big animals. That's really exciting to see one. Fantastic. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do some mini beast hunting, and we will then we will read a story. And I've got a few little stories. Well, I've got our main story, but then I'm going to show you some other books as well. And then we are going to do our craft activity, and then we're going to sing our Nature Tots Forest School song. So, first of all, let's do some mini beast hunting. And got the log from last week. So this is our Nature Tots log for the next few weeks or months. And we're going to have to lift our log up. Everybody who's been to Nature Tots or Forest School before knows that sometimes these be very heavy and sometimes really helpful to give a big help in lifting the log up. Just before I do, I want to say hello to Alexander. Hello, and you also love elephants. Here. Hi, Alexander. So, are we ready? Okay, get my muscles ready. Just warm up. Oh, it's pretty heavy. Heavy. Here we go. You can see a worm already. Wow. Wow, wow. So many worms. I hope you can see all of these. We've got small worms and big worms. We've got very wiggly worms. We've got worms that are all curled up. They are lovely. Oh, I've just seen up here, I nearly missed him. There's a tiny little worm right on the top of the log. He must be stuck to the soil. Sometimes when you lift the log up, you get some soil stuck to the bottom. He must be stuck under there. Wow, so many logs. And I don't know if you can see here, but they're different colours. So many logs, so many worms. So these earthworms, we've got some, that one's almost purple. We've got orangey coloured ones, browny coloured ones, pink ones. Some almost look like different colours on the same worm. And there's lots of different types of worms as well. And sometimes people think that all the small worms are babies and that all the big worms are the adults. But next time you see a worm, have a closer look. And if it's got one of these bands on like this, then it's an adult worm. But if it doesn't have a band on, like this one, it's still a baby worm. So sometimes you have really big worms, like this one's really big, but it doesn't have a band on yet, so it's not finished growing. And you have little ones like this that are finished growing because it's got the band on. So that's a good way to see if it's an adult or still a baby. Have a look. Oh, we've got a leaf here. I wonder if there's anything under the leaf today. Last week, I think we had a woodlouse under the leaf, didn't we? Let's have a look. Ah, there's a little worm poking out. Hello. You just come to have a look around, have you? Wow, another worm. Shall we count all of our worms? So let's not forget this worm up here. Shall we start with this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 wiggly worms, which is like this. These look like wiggly worms, don't they? 10 wiggly worms. Who can put their 10 wiggly worms up? Wiggle them all about. 10 wiggly worms under our log. That is a lot of wiggly worms. So if you are going to go and have a look for some wiggly worms, whether it's in your garden or on your balcony or under or in your flower pots, then be very gentle. Last week we looked at how to hold the animals carefully, didn't we? And if you're holding a worm, only hold them for about 10 minutes and then put them back. If you hold them for a long time, they can dry out, which isn't good for them. So just hold them for a short time. Also, when you're holding them, I take you here. Sorry, just very. Oh, you are a lovely big worm. So also when you're holding them, very gentle. Make sure you cup them in your hands and you support them all the way across. Don't just hold them like that because that's not good for them. Make sure you give them lots of support and just hold them for 10 minutes. And remember, we said very, very careful, gentle stroking. We're not doing any pinching or prodding. Everybody that comes to Nature Tots or Forest School is very good and very gentle with looking after the animals. So this worm, I've finished having a look at him now. So just very carefully going to put you back in your home and do the log. Oh, it's heavy. You back into the log here with your friends. There we go. And then, oh, look at the little one, he's lovely. And then, when we finish looking at them, it's really important that we put the log back down very gently so that they're all nice and secure under there again. Oh, it's lovely to see so many worms under a log. And the thing is, when we go to Nature Tots and we start looking under the logs, we never know what we're going to find. Sometimes we might lift a log up, but there might not be anything there. Sometimes we lift a log up and it's full of different things. Sometimes there's lots of the same thing. I think those worms might have liked to come there today because on Saturday it was a little bit rainy, wasn't it? And they quite like it when it's been raining, and they like to, it makes it easier for them to come up and have a look around. So they might all be at the surface under the log because of the rain, perhaps. So what we are going to do now is we are going to read some of our books. Sorry, let me just see. First of all, I want to share a lovely little worm poem with you. And this worm poem is from a book called Mad About Mini Beasts by Giles Andrea and David Wojtowicz. And it is published by Orchard Books. And it's a really lovely book because it's got so many different animals in here. It's got a nice little poem about each one. So if we open here, look at this. Look at these lovely worms. They are having such a good time under the soil. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you see this band here on them? So 4 worms. So it says, I wiggle and wriggle down into my hole, and then when I want something scrummy, I munch a few mouthfuls of marvellous mud. Do try some. It's really quite yummy. I think I'll take the worm's word for that. But another really good book that you can have a look at to learn more about worms is this one, Yucky Worms by Vivian French and Jessica Alberg, and it's published by Walker Books. And we have looked at this one at Nature Tots before, haven't we? So this one, we won't read the whole of it, but we'll just have a look through some of these pictures. And it's got loads and loads of facts in here. So this is one really long worm here. If I bring it closer to you, you might be able to see that this is lots of worm tunnels and there's some little worms in here. What are the worms saying? What's long and pink and goes up and down? I think that might be a worm. There's lots of worms in there. Oh, this worm says, I'm beginning to feel sick. Maybe it's all that going up and down in the soil. So this is a book about somebody who's playing and their grandma dug up a worm and they said, yuck, first of all, throw it away. And grandma says, throw it away? You wouldn't throw one of your friends away. And they said, you can't be friends with a worm. Well, let's have a look. So this tells you a little bit about the worms. It's got a picture. I don't think you can see very well on the video. But on the worms, They have inside, if you feel, you might be able to feel your heart beating. Now, worms have 5 pairs of hearts, which is one of the really fascinating things about them. Now, a pair is 2. So that's 1 pair. So 1, 2. So if you've got 5 pairs, that's 5 and 5. And how many hearts does that make? Shall we count them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 hearts. Wow. That's why they're so lovely. So they're looking at the one poking out here, and they're looking at how they're wiggling in the soil. I'm going to show you a video later on about a worm with a worm in it. So they ask, does it eat earth? And Gran says it eats teeny tiny stones and bits of grit. And they eat other things like rotting leaves and flowers and fruit and dead insects. And the stones and the grit help to grind everything up in the worm's tummy. And then the worm poos it back out. And that helps to make all of this lovely soil, which has got lots of good things in, for all of the plants to grow in. So they're really, really helpful for plants. So sometimes at the surface, you might be able to see what looks like a curly worm on top of the surface made of mud. But it's not a worm, it's the worm's poo. It's called a cast. And it's really helpful for all the plants to grow nice and big and strong. We're just having a quick look through this book. I would recommend, if you can, having a close look at another time, because there's so much information. It's especially good for older children if you want to learn more about worms. So this is showing some of the tunnels that the worms are making, and all of these plants that are on the top, we can't see underneath, but they've all got these roots that need to grow down into the soil to help them to grow nice and tall above the soil. So when the worms make all of these tunnels, it helps the plants be able to push their roots further down, because the worms are making it nice and airy and helping them to be able to grow their roots. So that's something else that's really good. It also helps for when it rains, the rain can easily be transported through these tunnels and helps get to the plant's roots, and they need rain to help them grow. But it's very dangerous being a worm, Gran's saying, because sometimes gardeners might accidentally get one with a fork or a spade, and different animals really love to eat worms. So this, do you know what animal that is? This one's a mole. It says here he's got his shopping list ready, and on his shopping list is a worm, a worm, a worm, and what? Oh, a worm. Shopping list full of worms. Other animals that like to eat worms are badgers. Different birds really like to eat worms. Toads love to eat worms. Now, at Centre for Wildlife Gardening, where some of you come for Nature Tots, one evening I saw a toad, and it had a worm, and it slurped the worm up like it was spaghetti. It was very good to watch, and it would have made the toad feel very full. A nice tasty worm for them. So, and it also says here that lots of people think that if you cut a worm in half, you get 2 worms. You don't. What happens is, if, just show here, if a worm loses, this is its tail end, and you can tell which end is its tail end because this band is always nearer to the head. If it loses part of its tail end, then it might still be able to survive. if it loses this part here, then that's its head that it's lost, and it wouldn't be able to survive. So if it lost its tail end, the tail wouldn't be able to carry on growing, just the rest of it. Anyway, let's see what else Gran has to say about worms. So they stopped and they had some orange juice, and Gran had some tea, and they said, "Can I dig a worm up?" And Gran said, "If it rains, the worms will come up on their own. And if it doesn't rain, you can use a watering can to try and trick the worms to think it's raining and coming up to the surface." Something else that you can do, and we've tried it at Woodbury before, is to dance. Have a dance, a worm dance on the soil, and to see if the worms will come up. And that's something, if you've got a garden or if you're in the park, you can have a little dance on the grass and see if you can get any worms to come up to the surface. I'm going to share in the comments, I'm going to share a video with you from the Wildlife Trust, and there's a really good video about different ways you can try and get worms to come up. So some more information about worms. And Gran's dancing on the soil here, but this time she's dancing and the worms have disappeared. So they've watered it and the worms have come up, but then she stamped on the ground and the worms have disappeared. Now, it might be, because they don't have eyes, the worms, but they can feel vibrations. And it might be that they think that stamp that Gran did is a big hungry bird landing on the soil or coming to peck at the soil. So then they disappear, so the bird can't get them. Some more pictures of the worms. And how they move is they've got lots of muscles that they can use to move through the soil. And sometimes they go long and thin, and then sometimes they go short and fat as they're pushing themselves through. And then they finish by saying, "When I go to school, I'm going to say that I've got lots of new friends." And Gran says, "Good idea." And they say, "Actually, I might not actually say that they're worms. I think it'd be really good to say you've got lots of friends and they're all worms. We would have had 10 worms under our logs, 10 new friends." And then it's got things about how to be a wormologist, looking out for worm casts in your garden, experimenting by watering the dry soil or grass and watching to see. So I'm definitely going to share that video from the Wildlife Trust, because that shows really good ways to be a wormologist. So now we're going to get on to our story. Before we do, I've just seen that Orla found a centipede and woodlouse in the garden and a stag beetle. Wow, that was really good. To find a stag beetle is amazing. Stag beetles are our biggest beetle that we have in the UK. They can get to kind of that size, the boy stag beetles. And that's George and Orla found the centipede and woodlouse and stag beetle. So see, I'm sorry, I'm struggling again. Persephone. Sorry, is that right? I'm going to practice that one next week. I'm going to be on it. And Alethea. And you've tried worm farming with drums before. That's brilliant. I also hear that singing is a way to try and get them up. So you could try that as well as your drums. You could drum and sing to them at the same time. Let me know how that goes. And you could even sing the Nature Tots song, couldn't you? And see if that works for them. Now, I'm going to share our next book, and it is probably one of my favouriteest books. Ravi found some woodlice. Potato, you call them potato bugs. That's lovely. I love potatoes. Oh, I like the sound of potato bugs. Woodlice are lovely. We saw a video of a woodlouse last week, didn't we? So our book that we're going to read. Does anybody know any other books about worms? If you've been to Nature Tots, you definitely do. So we're going to read about Superworm. Superworm is a brilliant book. It's written by Julia Donaldson, and this one is published by Alison Green Books. And there's some things you need to know about Superworm before we start. Are you ready? Superworm is super long. Can you stretch your arms out really long like that? Yeah. And then Superworm is super strong. Can you make your arms go really strong? And then you can watch him wiggle. Wiggle. See him squirm. And then we shout, hip hip hooray for Superworm. Are we ready? So that's what you need to know about Superworm before we start. Are we ready to do our chant? Sorry, the light's not very good on here. Superworm is super long. Superworm is super strong. Watch him wiggle. See him squirm. Hip hip hooray for Superworm. Ah, help! Disaster! Baby Toad has hopped onto a major road. Oh, quick! Whatever can we do? Don't worry. It's Superworm Lasso. The bees are feeling bored today. They need a nice new game to play. Cheer up, bees. No need to mope. It's Superworm, the skipping rope. Oh no! Beetle's fallen down the well. Is she drowning? Who can tell? Not to panic. All is fine. It's Superworm, the fishing line. Then toads and beetles, bees and bugs, brother snails and sister slugs, uncle ant and earwig ant, clap and cheer and chant this chant. Ready? Superworm is super long. Superworm is super strong. Watch him wiggle, see him squirm. Hip hip hooray for Superworm. The chant is carried in the air to Wizard Lizard in his lair. He whispers in his servant's ear, find that worm and bring him here. The servant crow is black and grim, and everyone is scared of him. They all let out a fearful shriek to see their hero in his beak. The wizard waves his magic flower. Now, Superworm, you're in my power, and you must tunnel, writhe, and coil to find me treasure in the soil. Superworm is very cross to have the lizard as his boss, but whenever he tries to slink away, the wizard's magic makes him stay. So, for days he tunnels, he twists and he winds. All the treasure that he finds is, see if you can find it on here, two small buttons. You see two small buttons. There's a blue one and an orange one. You see them? One there, one there. Two small buttons, half a cork. Cut it. You see it? Toffee. At this one. And a plastic fork. Now, the wizard flicks an angry tail. Have one last try, and if you fail to find that treasure down below, I'll feed you to my hungry crow. The crow is flapping through the night. Everyone looks up in fright, and they see him perched upon an oak, and they listen to his dreadful croak. Superworm is good to eat. Superworm's a special treat. He'll be juicy, fast and firm. Hip hooray for Superworm. Action! Quickly, at the double! Superworm's in frightful trouble. We must help him if we can. We must hatch a cunning plan. So, we see who we've got here. We've got some toads. We've got some slugs and snails. We've got an ant. We've got bees, beetles, a caterpillar, an earwig. So many animals. Hopefully, goes crossed, going to save Superworm. The garden creatures leave their home carrying a honeycomb. They jump and they fly and they crawl and they creep while busily the spider weaves. Can you see what the spider's weaving there? Should we find out? This is funny. Actually, stuck with honey. Oh, when the book is on my right, I'm blocking my mic. Sorry. I hope you haven't missed the story. No, book on my right. There we go. I hope that's better. Yeah, I'm getting a mic soon, so hopefully this won't be a problem. Bees and beetles fly and lift the web into the sky. And then this is the place, and I'm crash dump. The wizard's in the rubbish dump. And if you look closely in here, see if you can see the Gruffalo. Can you spot some purple prickles? Just here. You see him, the Gruffalo hiding. And now from somewhere underground, there comes a distant rumbling sound. The earth begins to heave, and then Superworm is back again! Yeah! Superworm, the swing, the slide, the hula hoop, the fairground ride. Superworm, the belt, the hat, the crane, the train, the acrobat. Then bees and beetles, toads and beetles, bees and bugs, brother snails and sister slugs, uncle ant and earwig ant, clap and cheer and chant this chant. Are we ready to do our chant one last time? Superworm is super long. Superworm is super strong. Watch him wiggle. See him squirm. Hip hip hooray for Superworm. There we go. That's all about Superworm. My favourite worm. Sometimes at Nature Tots we find some really long worms and we think that must be Superworm. You must be very busy. Sorry if you didn't hear all of that properly. I need to work out the volume, the audio thing better. But yes, hopefully next week we'll have a mic and it will be a bit easier to hear. Now, for the craft activity today, who would like to make a bit of a home for worms? Could be superworm, it could be any other worms. So to do this, you can use a paper plate. It doesn't have to be a paper plate. You could just use some cardboard. So you could use an empty box, cardboard on a box. And you're wanting to decorate this for a worm's home. So where does a worm live? So we lifted up a log and we saw lots of worms, didn't we? So there was lots of soil, yeah. And and they like to burrow underground. And we also saw under our log, and when we were reading about the yucky worms, we saw that sometimes they have leaves in their home. They might even have little stones in there and tree roots. So these are things that we could put on our home. So you can use leaves. I've got some different types of leaves here. You could use paper. You could use crayons. You could use paint. You can use anything that you like. And it doesn't just have to be a brown colour like the soil. You could make it any colour you like. You could think, if I was a worm, where would I really like to live? So you could have some, I've got some really lovely paper here. Oh, if I was a worm, I'd like to live somewhere with really nice decorations. So it's up to you. And so you can start to decorate that. So worms can be found in lots of different places. So sometimes you'll see them underground, but sometimes you might see them above the ground and crawling around. You might also, if you're doing super worms, you might also want to put some of the maybe the not so good treasure that superworm found. I've got to see if I've got some buttons. I'm going to put some leaves on there. What else do I need? Some leaves. I might put some of this on. Do some. Oh, I've used tissue paper on mine. And I like to scrunch the tissue paper up, and then it looks like it's given it different textures. I'm going to do some colouring on there as well. And then the last thing that you want to do, or you could do this beforehand, it's up to you. No. Oh, good. My glue spreader stuck to my pencil. So you can use a pencil or a pen to poke some holes through your worm's home so that the worms can come and visit. And you'll only need quite small holes because your fingers would be a lot smaller than mine. I've had to put some quite big ones in. So let me see, and I'll show you. So this is my worm's home, and can you see the worm? Superworm's found the fork. Oh, you can see the buttons down there, and see. Oh, just lost some of our. He's found the half a cork. He's found the toffee. He's found the other button. So you could put as many different holes as you wanted, and you can have lots of worms at the same time, or you could just have one worm and they can go and visit the home and check out different places in the home. I'm just going to stick that one back there. It's up to you how you want to do it. You could put some other treasure. The wizard wasn't happy with that treasure, was he? The 2 small buttons, half a cork, the toffee, and a plastic fork. So you could put any treasure at all that you like on there. And if you don't have it, you could draw some pictures and put them on there. Maybe some shiny foil, all sorts, anything at all. And if you make your nice home and you'd like to share that with me, I'd love to see it. So you can email it to me. My email, I'll put my email in the information there. You could also share it on our Twitter, Facebook, on our Instagram, and this is our website. And on our website as well, if you go to there and if you do /wildlife from your window. There's lots of other information about wildlife, and there's different things that you can do, different activities, all different ages as well. So if you've got older brothers or sisters that want to learn more about wildlife, but they want to come to Nature Tots, and that could be good for them. If you share it on here, if you want to do a hashtag and put wildlife from your window and Nature Tots, and then we'll be able to see it. So the other thing I was going to say, something you could do, if you want to do this, and then you could watch or read the Superworm story again, you can make your very own sock puppet. So my sock puppet has it's got a lovely pink mouth, very spotty, very long. Wonder if it's strong. Very strong. This is my sock puppet. So you can make a sock puppet. You could put some eyes on there. You could put anything that you liked on there, and then you could watch this back, and you could listen to Superworm again, and you could have Superworm here who's ready to do all of the tunneling, looking for the treasure, saving all the animals, saving Toad from the road, Beetle from the well, entertaining the bees. So many things that Superworm can do, isn't there? Yes, there is. So that's something else that you can do. Another really nice activity to look for worms is to make a little wormery. And then we have done this at Nature Tots before. And it's to use a plastic bottle and to put different layers of soil and sand, and then collect some worms, and you'll be able to see the worms tunneling up. On the Wildlife Trust, on last Wednesday, they made a really good video about making a wormery. So I'll put that in a link. I really recommend having a look at that to see the worms up close. And you can see, to have a look to see if you've got adult worms or baby worms. So now it's time to, before we finish with our song, it's time to look through our window. So today, hopefully you'll be able to see. So I've already opened the windows, and I've got some things to hold them back. So this is a video of a worm that my friend Sam got from Centre for Wildlife Gardening. So he lives very near to there, and he's been going in to make sure all the flowers are watered and everything's fine. And he got this really lovely video of a worm for me that I'd like to share with you. Very busy worm. Did you like that? Did you see it? Really long, wasn't it? A really long worm. And it wasn't underground. It wasn't in the soil. It was going right up on top of the log. Did you spot any other animals on there? Did you see the snail up there? A good one, isn't it? And I did have somebody shared their, when I find it, I tried to get it onto the window. But to show you, remember last week we read the story Peely Wally, and we made beautiful eggs and then a little baby bird in our egg. And this is one. Oh, I don't think we can see this very well at all. So this is a beautiful one that I wanted to share with you that somebody, Daphne, had made and shared on Instagram. This is, no, I don't think you can you see? Very colourful, very beautiful, spotty, yes. Colourful, yes. And absolutely perfect in every way. I think so. Good job, Daphne. So if you've got any pictures that you want to share, Ken, I'd really love to see them. Keep having a look at wildlife from your window. If you've got a little garden or balcony, where possible, have a look. So we're just going to finish with our Forest School song. So we need to know what the weather's been like today. So has anybody been outside yet? Does anybody know what the weather's like? I've only been in my little back garden a little bit. But if you know what the weather's been like, if you want to say, because I'm just trying to peer out my window now. Have a look. I can see some blue sky, so I think it looks quite clear. I don't know if it's been hot or cold though. Looks quite sunny. Shall we say maybe a sunny and warm day? Warm and sunny day? It was very warm and sunny yesterday. Should we say warm and sunny for our song today? Okay, are we ready? If it's not warm and sunny where you are, you can put whichever two words you like in there. So to make it right for where you are. But in South London at the moment, I'd say warm and sunny. I'll find out properly later on when I take the dogs for a walk. Warm and sunny. Are we ready? All right, let's need some to tap. I will use 2 crayons today. Oh, they make a nice sound. Are we ready? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Here we are at Forest School, Forest School, Forest School. Here we are at Forest School on a warm and sunny day. Good job. Shall we sing it slowly and quietly? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Here we are at Forest School, Forest School, Forest School. Here we are at Forest School on a cold, warm and sunny day. I nearly forgot my words again. If we've done it slowly, what's the other way to do it? Shall we do it fast? Yeah? Okay. Are we ready? I have to remember the words this time. Warm and sunny. 1, 2, 3. Here we are at Forest School, Forest School, Forest School. Here we are at Forest School on a warm and sunny day. Well done. I can't hear you, but if I could, I know you're doing a good job there with that singing. Okay, and we're going to sing it one more time. If there is anybody watching that would like to choose whether we sing it slow, normal, or fast, do you want to let me know? Do you want to type and let me know? Whilst you're doing that, just say thank you very much, everybody, for joining us for Nature Tots today. And if you would like to, as a charity, at the moment we're losing a lot of money. If you'd like to make a donation, then it would be very much appreciated. And thank you very much to everybody who did last week. There is in the description, there is a link that takes you to be able to make a donation. We've had 2 people come through, and both Frida and Tala have asked for slow. Okay, that's a nice one. Okay, are we ready? We're going to do slow today. 1, 2, 3. Here we are at Forest School, Forest School, Forest School. Here we are at Forest School on a warm and sunny day. Lovely. Thanks, everybody. That singing, you could try that to see if you can get the worms to come up. That's a way to try and get them to come up to sing to them. So I'm going to put those links that I said about the different videos. And my friend Sam from Centre for Wildlife Gardening, he did a lovely video about worms, which is really good for older people and adults to learn more about worms. There's lots of information about why they're so important. But I hope today you all agree with me that worms are super, yes. And there's so many different sizes and colours on worms, and they're really beautiful. And they've got 5 pairs, 10 parts. So it makes them really loving. So thank you very much, everybody. Again, please feel free to share any pictures or videos with me, and I will see you all again next week. And it's either going to be next week or the week after that our craft activity is going to be involving toilet rolls. So if possible, if you could collect 2 toilet rolls, don't worry if you can't, you'll still be able to do the craft activity. But if you can, collect 2 toilet rolls for next week, and that would be fantastic. Either next week or the week after. Okay. Great to see you all. Thank you everybody for joining, and I will see you next week. Bye. Oh, I'm trying to end. It won't end. I think I'm ending. Bye.